Hello, Revere, and welcome to our Revere Veterans and Community Show. Today we have two special guests. One is a former council president of the city of Revere, Mr. Tony Zambuto. Or is it Anthony?
Anthony's fine, Tony's fine.
Okay, thank you. And the other one is Huntley, who's a West Highland White Terrier. Huntley, welcome to the show. So you did bring my replacement with you, did you?
I brought Huntley, who is one of my show dogs, and he's he's near perfect as a show dog, as a West Highland Terrier. What they do is they judge the breed by a standard. It's a written standard, and he fits the written standard almost perfectly. He has it all. But more importantly, he's one of the best moving dogs I've ever had.
Tony, so, can I ask you one question,
yeah,
if I may? When you take them to the show,
yeah,
what did the show, the referees there, or the judges, what do they look for on it?
They look for how they meet their standard. I was just trying to tell you about their written standard. There's a written standard. It tells how this head is supposed to be, how their teeth and mouth is supposed to be. It tells basically how their shoulder lay back is. Like I said, he's almost perfect for its breed standard.
He's beautiful.
It's his tail set. It's the angulation in the back. There's many things they look for, but they're not judging the beauty of the dog. They're judging how it measures up to its breed standard. That's why when you see a dog show like Westminster,
right, you
might think an ugly dog won the show, but that dog may be perfect towards its breed standard. Now, I think the Beagle won this year.
Yep.
That Beagle is perfect to its breed standard. It meets all the perfect requirements. And they have to show well, too. That's part of it. But,
is it all right if I pet him?
Go right ahead.
Hi, Huntley.
Huntley's a little nervous because he's in here. And he's not groomed because not long ago he had emergency surgery.
Oh, I see.
My friend here decided to eat a tennis ball, and it got stuck in his intestines. So it's a very expensive operation, but he's going to be fine. So now we had to put him kind of on the shelf for a while because, as you can see, where they put the IV in his leg, yep, they had to shave him. So we can't groom him properly until, so he's going to be on the shelf for about 6 or 8 months before he gets back in the show ring.
That's good. That's good.
Anyways, I'm sure you don't want to just talk about
No, but I would like to ask you one more question if we can about the dog. They have papers and it says AKC, but I don't know what the AKC stands for.
Okay. Well, AKC stands for American Kennel Club. It's a club for purebred dogs, and that is the premier marking of a purebred dog.
Oh,
so see, I breed for show, obviously, and we're always breeding to try to make the perfect West Highland White Terrier. And my kennel name is called the Lonsdale Kennels. So his official name is Lonsdale Huntley, and because you have to always put your kennel name before the dog's name. And all my other dogs are like Champion Lonsdale Winston and Champion Lonsdale Baxter, the one that I lost this year finally at 16.5 years old. And so that's, but AKC is the standard for purebred dogs. And if I sold you a dog, say we have a litter, we usually keep what we think is going to be the best show quality, or we may keep a bitch if it's going to we're going to use it to breed and go forward. They call that a brood bitch. And what happens is, say you bought a puppy from me that I deemed was for a pet home. We place some puppies in pet homes, and you would get, after you had it spayed or neutered, you would get from me, I would send you the AKC papers, and you would register it, and it would be your dog registered to AKC in your name. So it would be Morris owns a West Highland White Terrier, and either a male or a female, and you may call it Johnny or Susie or whatever. And so that's what the AKC is. And AKC is to keep the purebred dog alive. It's kind of like, it's really how they control healthier dogs. How you're pretty sure you're going to get a healthy dog if you get it from a qualified AKC breeder who is showing and is trying to better the breed. Because what happens is, we don't reproduce any genetic defects.
Oh, I see.
If there's any sickness in the line, we go back 7 generations before we breed to a, like before I would breed him to another bitch. The pedigrees are all checked, and all the grandparents are checked to make sure there's no health issues. So this way you don't end up with an unhealthy dog. Anyway.
That's enough about
All
the
right, so
dog
let's
for a
talk
while.
about...
Wait a while. Let me say, excuse me, Huntley, I want to talk politics, okay?
What do you think, Huntley? Is that okay?
Okay. Now, you were council president, but before you became council president, how did you first get involved in the political arena?
By the way, you said former council president. I'm still the vice president right now.
Oh,
so,
okay.
So I'm still on the council, just in case anybody doesn't realize. I am a current city
Right,
councilor.
I meant, you know, you're not the
past president, yes. And I was
sorry
president.
about that,
I was
Tony.
president for 2 terms, actually, 2 different.
I wish you were
in
president
2010 and in 2014, I was president.
Right, but how did you first get involved on the Revere City Council?
Well, I had a business in Revere for many years, and I was involved in, I was president of the Rotary Club and vice president of the Chamber of Commerce, and I was very active in the city and wanted to have some say in shaping the direction of the city, because I love this city and it's going to be my home for many more years. Hopefully I live many more years, but
I hope you do too.
I wanted to have some say in what went on in the city. And so I decided to run for city council at large. And I ran twice and was very close. Came, I think, within 50 votes one time of winning. And then the 3rd time I ran, I actually won. But there was a recount. And the election was taken away in the recount. That was many, many years ago. That was 1997. And so it was turned over in the recount, which was not very nice. But it turned out to be God's will, because Joe Del Grosso was the councilor that I had beaten.
That's right.
But he beat me in the recount. And it turned out that was his last 2 good years on earth, because he developed cancer and passed away. So those of us that are believers believe that was God's will, that he, you know, he was supposed to keep that seat for the next 2 years.
I have to tell you something, Tony. Cancer is a deadly killer. But at the time that you mentioned it with Joe Del Grosso 18 years ago or 20 years ago, people who had cancer at that time didn't live too long. But if they had the same cancer today,
they probably live, yes.
They probably could live a long time.
He had an aggressive form of melanoma, which is still very difficult today.
Yep.
And we're all very conscious of cancer. And but that was God's will that Joe. So consequently, the next year, I won very handily, and Joey still won, and he served for about 6 or 9 months before he ended up passing away from cancer. So that was the start of my really... We
just lost another one, Mr. Richard Penta.
Yes, we did. And before him, we lost Jimmy Kimmerly. Some great people have been taken by cancer on the city council, and it's really sad. Richard Penta was really a good guy and a good city councilor, and a dear friend of mine, a very dear friend, and I miss him terribly.
May God rest his soul.
Yeah, God rest his soul is right. And yeah, so cancer's a deadly thing. And but anyways, let's get off cancer and back on to city council. So I came and I wanted to make a difference on the Revere City Council, and I had a vision. As you know, at the time, we had a dilapidated police station that was the that the records room. The water used to come in and destroy the records, and it was really it wasn't fair to have people serving out of that station. It was a condemned...
You're talking the one behind City Hall?
Right. By all intents and purposes, it was a condemned building. And it was my goal to build a police station. I set that as my goal on the city council. And it was not easy, because it's a lot of money, and a lot of people were afraid to vote for it. But we decided, and part of the way that I helped convince others that we needed to build this police station now was, I told them that if OSHA shut down this police station, we'd have to get a temporary trailer for our police officers, and that would be about $3 million. So if we were going to put $3 million into temporary trailers, don't you think we should put that towards the mortgage? And so that's what generated. And as luck would have it, there was a lot of effort to look for special legislation for a surcharge on rental cars. And it was going to be, if we got it, it was going to be dedicated to the paying off the mortgage on the police station. And with a lot of help from our dear friends, at the time Senator Travellini, but especially Speaker DeLeo, who wasn't the Speaker at the time, was Chairman of Ways and Means. And we had a lot of good friends that helped us pass this legislation. And for, you know, we got now one of the most state-of-the-art police stations in the state, and probably in the country.
I was going to say this, Tony.
Yeah.
I had the honor of doing work on that police station. I worked for North Shore Steel, and I did a lot of the miscellaneous.
I know you did, because you were there when I was.
Right.
You were doing takeoffs on the plans when we were in the initial staging of the police station. So I know you were involved.
So thank you for giving me a job to do.
Well, I was. You know what?
I was 70 years old almost at the time, but I didn't want to just lie back.
And you did a great job, by the way, on this deal.
Well, a lot of people did it.
Yeah.
And also, what's his name? Captain Guido.
Captain Guido and I worked side by side on that project, and he did a wonderful job, and he was there every minute of it, and I was at every construction meeting through the whole project. And that's a big source of pride for me, is that we, you know, it's one thing to serve, but when you set a goal and then accomplish it, it's rewarding. And every time I drive by that police station, I look at it with a source of pride that I made a difference in the city. I helped get this thing off the ground, and we finally built it. And just as a side note, I told you that we get the surcharge that was paying for the bond. What some people don't know is Massport forced all the rental car companies to move their facilities onto their new building they built on the airport. So in order to rent cars at the airport, you have to be on the airport. What that did to us is took over $1 million in revenue that we used to get towards the bond of the police station, took it away. Well, I have some good news.
Let's hear it.
Because I am the type of guy that's always looking out for the taxpayer. I'm not blowing my own horn, but there was a type of use that we had given them over there. It was an accessory use to the rental car agency, was to park and fly cars. Well, it turns out after they moved all these cars to the airport, they continued to park and fly. Unfortunately, I had to shut them down, because we couldn't let them have an accessory use to something they weren't doing. So, needless to say, excuse me.
Go ahead, Tony.
When I shut them down, when we shut them down, I got a call from the vice president. See, Hertz owns Thrifty, and I got a call from New Jersey, from their vice president. And he said, "What's the problem?" I said, "Well, I hate to tell you this," I said, "but we gave you a special use because you were giving us over $1 million in revenue. It was more like close to $1.5 million at its peak. And unfortunately, when you move the cars, there's no more rental cars going there. I can't allow you to operate this type of use you're doing there now. Well, can we work something out?" So, needless to say, we negotiated a deal, and they are staying on the property, and they rent some cars from Hertz, and more importantly, they register I think almost all their cars that they rent at the airport and other places. I think it's about 1,000 cars a year they're registering. What that means is we get the excise tax. So I brought back $800,000, and that's going directly to the mortgage of the police station. So it's the taxpayers would have had to pick up that tab. And those are the things that don't get talked about. I don't brag about this, but that's a particular thing that, this is what I do on a daily basis, is I'm always looking out for the citizens and the taxpayers. And that's why I say that I make a difference on the Revere City Council. People say to me, "You've been on there a long time, Tony. why do you want to run for re-election? And the truth is, I make a difference on the Revere City Council. And so I need to stay there because it's my city, and I want to see it go in the right direction.
Right, Tony, I'd like to mention one other thing that people don't know about you, and that is you come down to our senior center, and I happen to be a senior, part of the senior center, and you're always there for us at not only at every function, but even if at no function you're down there to visit us.
Well, the seniors are who put me in office. Let's face facts, Morris. You know, I love the people down there. Unfortunately, we've lost a lot of them over the last few years.
I know that.
But you know, the seniors are my base. The seniors put me in office, and anything I can do for seniors, I do. You know, I don't do a lot. I try to give them every benefit we could possibly give them, and I help to work on giving them more things when we can, you know, like the water and sewer work-off program and things like that to help people, because it's very tough to be on a fixed income and try to survive. And you know, you have your own house and you're independent, and you know, God bless you. You're one of the very few World War II veterans that I know. And you're so active, and you do so much for the veterans, and you do so much for the wounded warriors, you do so much for our soldiers, and people don't know that. They just know you as Morris the DJ and the guy that's a funny guy that's a comedian. But I know and I respect you so much for your service, but not just your service in World War II, but your service today is so important and so valuable. And there's people out me that are, like me, that are at the top of your fan club, and I only say that because I know a lot of people don't know all the things you do. You collect money for the warriors, for the wounded warriors, for the
flags,
for the flag. You go down.
Troop support.
Operation Troop Support. All these things you do, aside from being one of our few left World War II veterans. There's not many of us. Many of you left now.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because we have one, and I'm sure you know him, Salvatore Santoro.
Oh,
he's going to be 102 years old in February.
God
He's 101 and a half already.
God bless him. God bless him.
Yep. He turned 101 on February the 14th, and he's now 6 months into August.
That's
March,
wonderful.
April, May, June, July. Yeah, 101 and a half. God bless him.
Well, I'm sure we gave him a certificate for his 100th birthday, but we should do something for his 102nd birthday, too. That's
Tony,
wonderful.
I got to ask you two questions.
Go ahead.
You were the council president when we had the tornado?
Yes.
I believe you were the council. No, when we had the snow. Well, you were during the snowstorm at the beginning of it.
Yes, yeah.
How do you feel? What a beautiful job the city did.
Let me tell you something. The day of that tornado, I was on my way to City Hall.
July 28, and I was right at the senior center when we heard that boom.
And thank God the senior center, a 4-ton air conditioner blew off the roof and nobody got hurt.
No, but the truck next door got squashed.
Oh, I understand that, but do you realize we had an EF2 tornado come down the center of Broadway at 9:15 or something like that, 9 in the morning, and nobody got killed? That's unbelievable. That's the grace of God. That doesn't happen.
I know that.
I mean, that's a miracle that nobody got hurt or killed. But let me tell you something. We have some of the best people in the country here. You know, the mayor stepped right up to the plate. Gene Doherty, our chief of the fire department, is also our chief of the emergency management team. He took control immediately. And I'm telling you, every police officer, firefighter, emergency responder, it was unbelievable. And citizens, unbelievable. Everybody was helping each other. In fact, when the Red Cross came here, they couldn't believe. They put up an emergency shelter and nobody went to it. You know why nobody went to it? Because neighbors were taking in their friends. They didn't need emergency shelters. They said they've never seen this kind of cooperation in any disaster they've ever been at.
You might make Philadelphia jealous of the city of brotherly love then.
The citizens of Revere really stepped up to the plate. But I'll tell you, I was absolutely proud to be part of the city when this tragedy hit, because I saw how everybody jumped in, nobody thinking of themselves, everybody thinking of the people and how we can help them, and you know, making things safe and worrying about wires down, and everything was about keeping our citizens safe.
And Mayor Rizzo, God bless him,
Let me
went
tell you
around
something.
to collect the money for the to help the people for repair.
The emergency fund, for,
yeah.
the relief fund, and we got a great guy to administer it. Jerry Leone, the former district attorney, did a wonderful job. But the people that donated money, people opened up their hearts. There's a little girl that had a lemonade stand and came up here all the way from, I forget where it was, somewhere down near the Cape, came up here to deliver the $50 to the mayor's office. People from all over the
I wish you knew her name. I
state.
would like to say
Well,
thank you.
let me tell you, the mayor knows it because we brought her up back
Oh.
here. But we should recognize her again. But the point of the matter is that everybody acted in a wonderful, professional manner. It made me proud to be, and that's everybody from the police, the fire, the emergency, DPW. Everybody stepped up. All the city workers, you know. Municipal workers and state workers get a bad rap, you know.
I know, but they do a fabulous job.
They do a
when you
great
need 'em.
job, and when there's a disaster, they don't think of themselves. There were volunteers here that were just volunteering to do the work, not looking for compensation. And there was one guy, Mike Marullo, owns Capital Waste,
Yep.
the trash company.
Right.
I had to stop my car. I was going down School Street trying to get to City Hall when the tornado hit. And there was a wire down, you know, and so I had to turn around. I had to go across the whole city to get back and come around through Chelsea and get to City Hall. I see a guy walking up the street, and he gets close to me, and it's Mike Marullo. I says, "What are you doing?" He says, "I got a piece of equipment at the high school." He had, for some reason, he had loaned them some kind of a backhoe type thing that picked up tree trunks and stuff like that, and he was going to get that. So I didn't think much of it. I said, "Well, I'm going to City Hall. Good to see you." Shook his hand. I'm coming home at 7:30 at night, and there's a big truck at School Street and Cushman Ave, and there's a guy in the backhoe loading the big truck. And who is it? It's Michael Marullo. He had been there all day working for us, of course for nothing, but left his own business to help out the city. This is the kind of stuff we have that people just stepped up to the plate. And there's probably 500 stories like that people can tell. But that's my little story as to how everybody just jumped in, pitched in to do the right thing. And, you know, you judge a city on how it gets through its disasters. And if you add up the tornado and the 110 or 20, what do we got, 120 inches of snow, or whatever it is?
9 feet would be 108, 10 feet, yep.
Yeah, so, I mean, Revere came true, you know, really came through shining as a beacon of what it's supposed to be like. How we react in a time of crisis. It's easy to do good things when there's no problem, when it's 85 degrees out and sunny, everything's fine. But how we respond to emergencies and disasters is what measures the city.
We did a fabulous job.
And I'm proud to be part of this city.
I've got to ask you this. People don't know this, but Steve Fielding, who's head of the Revere Senior Center,
one of the mayor's best hires, I might say.
Right. He's going to be
guy.
starting on what is called a Revere Senior News Show on Revere TV. Revere Senior
wonderful.
News, which I think is an excellent idea.
That's a great idea, yeah.
And he picked me as an honor to be the co-host with him on
Wonderful.
that. So,
Wonderful.
Steve, thank you. Isn't that a terrific idea? That's going to inform the people and the city of Revere.
It's a wonderful idea.
Because a lot of people, Tony, excuse me, cannot read the scrolls because they can't see that good, especially the senior citizens.
I agree.
Just like you and I.
Right.
You see me, you know.
Morris, I'm a senior, you know.
Oh, well, yeah, I didn't know you were that young. God bless you,
yeah,
Tony.
you know what? God bless me is right. I am blessed. I'm blessed to be alive and healthy.
I'm blessed to be alive, too.
Yeah, I mean, you know, We don't take that for granted, you know. I'm
Nope.
grateful every day. And, you know, like I said, we lost some good people in the city council.
Yep.
And most of them were younger than me.
We lost
So,
some good people at the senior center, too.
Of course, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, very sad. And
Tony,
a lot of
excuse
good
me,
friends.
take a minute and a half. We only got a couple of minutes
Okay.
left to wrap it up, and just leave me 1 minute.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, what do you want me to do? You want me
Talk
to,
about what you would like to see in the future for the city of Revere. if
Well,
you could.
Revere is a city that's on the move. You know that we've got about $140 million in development ongoing right now.
Wow.
We have the transit-oriented development on the beach, which is moving along wonderfully, and the residential pieces are coming together nicely. Soon we're going to have a hotel next to the plaza deck, and it's going to be a high-end hotel, a very nice hotel. We've got Motorcycles of Manchester, an Indian dealership that's going to be on Broadway, that beautiful new building they're building.
Yep.
We've got a senior housing across the street from it, 39 senior families are going to be living at the old site of Reardon's Restaurant, Fennel Corner.
39 units are
Yeah,
going to be there?
39 units, and we've got of course that building right at the start of Broadway, which is for kids only after school. A beautiful building, and as part of the Broadway Improvement Committee, I'm thrilled with all of this stuff. But more importantly, there's a lot of good stuff, and a lot of good developers are looking to come in this city. And you know, people talk about how we didn't get the casino. What we did was showcase the city and show off our 2.5 miles of pristine beach. And we spent 2 years of showcasing Revere and put Revere on the map. So whether we got the casino or not doesn't really matter. We've got a lot of great stuff that's
Right,
coming
Tony.
to the city of Revere.
I want to say it's an honor to have had you come on here, and good luck to you.
It's an honor to be here with you, Morris.
And I'm glad you brought your friend Huntley. It's an honor to have you here, too.
I think we bored Huntley because he went to sleep on us, but
Right.
that's because he just ate before he came here.
Okay. God bless you, Tony. God bless the people of Revere.
God
and
bless you.
especially our troops, but
Yes.
most of all our great country, the United States of America. And Tony, thank you, and I wish you all the best luck in your future.
Thank you for asking
And
me
I
to
never
come on.
realized you were a senior citizen. Okay, so forgive me.
I look good for a senior, yeah. Thank you for inviting me.